am I messing up here? Should I put this thing, just buy it now and put the price up there? And I said, no, I'm doing a test. I'm committed. I'm going to do this. This is a different type of video. I did something that I normally don't do. Auction. As you probably saw by the thumbnail, I put up 25 Real Photo Postcards, RPPCs, in 25 separate auctions on eBay. I always thought about auctions, and I don't do a lot of them. I just don't care for them, and you'll see why. Here, did okay, but I have some pros and cons at the end. But I bought 25 RPPC postcards from a local auction for $45. Now there was more in box and stuff, and you'll see the picture here. If you notice, there's a lot of babies and stuff like that. I don't do those. Those go in the flea market. I sell them out there, or give them away or whatever. But this is just one of the photos. And if you stare at that photo for a second of these cards here, this first picture on this auction, there's one card that stands out above them all. Yeah, that's the one right there. That's what they call a paper moon, crescent moon, full half moon. It's a studio prop Real Photo Postcard, RPPC. And you're going to see here in a minute some of the comps I found for that one. So my eyes caught that right away, and I was surprised that I bought this whole box of RPPCs for $45. Because that card right there is worth a lot more than that. So I figured I'm going to pull 25 cards out of the ones I bought of the RPPCs, and I'm going to do a test on auction, eBay auction. So that brings $48 divided by 25 cards is $1.80. Because all the other ones I'm not doing, or I'm not doing anything with. So really I paid $45 for 25 cards, or $1.80 each. So remember that number, $1.80 per card is what I have into. Now I put them in separate auctions. I started them on a Sunday to Sunday, 7 days, and I scheduled them 15 minutes apart. So one will started off at 11 Pacific time, 11:15, 11:30, 11:45, 12 noon, and so on. And that paper moon one, when we get to that one, I'll explain what I found. I did more digging on that one than any of the others. I priced them all to sell. Low, started low. Most of them started at $465, my minimum. So if they sold, I got it. If not, whatever happens. Now I'm going to go through each of the cards real quick. What title I used, I didn't put a lot of time into this auction. It took me a couple hours to do it, to set everything up and stuff like that in the spreadsheets. So I didn't spend a lot of time on a lot of the cards. Maybe a couple, as you'll see, I did a little bit of comping, but the other ones, I was going to let the people decide in the auctions. I didn't want to raise the price, and I just wanted to see what I was going to get and see if people are watching. So they're priced to sell, but I'm going to show you the title, my starting price, and the time that I kicked it off at. Then at the end, the auction's over now. I'll give you the stats on how it came out, and did I make any money? Did I get my money back? So we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go through these cards real quick and the auctions I put up. It shouldn't take too long. So the first card is just some guy with some ladies. So my title was Postcard RPPC Man Standing Behind Two Women with Big Hats. There's no other information on there. I started at $465, and that was the first one to kick off. Next one was, I think they're people in uniform. There was no information on this either, but they have all like a white uniforms on, so I put Postcard RPPC workers in uniforms outside shot. Now the box on the back, the stamp box, tells me it's about 1916. So that's where I got the date. And I started that one at $465, and that went off at $11.15. Now this is an interesting one. Remember this one. This is just a dirt path through the woods. Now it was postmarked Newark, Illinois, so I wanted to put some kind of date in the title or some kind of place, so I just put posted Newark, Illinois, 1907. That's what the postmark was. Started that one at $465, and that went off at $11.30. That's just a dirt path through some woods, some trees. It could be anywhere. We'll see. Then this was an interesting one. This is like a greeting card, but hard, and inside there is the RPPC part. The real photo is inside this postcard. And it's Postcard RPPC, a greeting from thy friend, Joliet, Illinois. Joliet's about 30 minutes west of me, a little bit northwest of me. And the stamp box says it's about 1909. Started that one at $4.69. That went off at $11.45. Next one had no information. All I saw was I put postcard RPPC family and dog. There's a dog to the left there on front porch of a home, and the stamp box says circa 1920s. And where I'm getting that date on these RPPCs is right here. These are cards I have in the Ko-Fi store. And this is a Azo stamp box, 4 triangles pointed up, and it's from 1904 to 1918. So I kind of just said 1920s. Make it easy, people, circa 1920, so it's somewhere in there. But that's where I get that. You can get this card. You can print it for free, or if you want the actual card, it's only $1.50, and it just pays for the card and the mailing. And it's in the Ko-Fi store. I also have in there the era card, different eras. I always forget, like white border, 1915 and 1930. I'm not good with dates. I have to go back and look once in a while. So these 2 cards are in there, and I'll mail them out to you for $1.50, or you can just download them and print them out yourself. I don't know where I got all that information, but I thought I would share it. But this one was, there's a dog and a family on an old house. I figured that should go. $4.65 is what I started at, and that kicked off at 12 noon. Next one was a railroad bridge. I put large railroad bridge, posted Morris, Illinois. That's about 45 minutes west of me. And that's postmarked circa 1908, around there. So I figured put that in the title, give it some date. But it's just a faded picture of a railroad bridge. Maybe the bridge is not there. $4.65 I started at, $12.15. Next one, puppies. Who doesn't like puppies? It's a bunch of puppies. So I put 6, I counted the puppies. I think I got it right. It took me a few times because they're kind of intermingled with the picture. But I think I put 6 puppies sleeping, because they are sleeping. Posted Dean, Iowa, circa 1920s. So I used the postmark again. Started the puppies, $4.65. Went off at $12.30. Here's that girl and a dog again. I just put young girl, dog, porch, 1920s because of the stamp box. $4.65. She doesn't look too happy, and the dog doesn't like the photographer, I don't think. Start time, $12:45. Notice that they're 15 minutes apart. Now this is the one that I showed you there. This is the paper moon. That's what I've seen most of it called paper moon. I call them half moons, crescent moons, studio props, whatever. But this is a special card. These studio props I always look for. Now my title that I used has some information from the postcard and some other of these comps that I found. So I put postcard RPPC, 2 women sitting, paper moon, and then on the back, this was Riverview Exposition, Chicago, Illinois. Riverview was like an amusement park, or there was an exposition for Riverview, or something going on with that, Chicago, Illinois. So it kind of dates it, and it also gives them where it was located. But this card was not used, really good condition. The starting price I did here was $24.65, and I started at 1 o'clock. Let me show you a couple comps. I just took 6 of the comps. 6. This is the first 6 I got. I just went right down the line, copied them here. First one, $350, 14 bids. Some paper moon. Next one, $300. Next one, $294. Next one, $282. $280. And then $280 again. So I'm saying to myself, am I messing up here? Should I put this thing, just buy it now and put the price up there? And I said, no, I'm doing a test. I'm committed. I'm going to do this. I only got $1.80 into it. So what am I losing? I could lose some good money here. And you'll find out in a second if it's sold or not. That's what I got the comps for. And why did I start this one at 1 p.m. Pacific time? And why did I start it at $24.65? This is about the only one I really did a deep rabbit hole dive on. Most of the cards that sold for over $200 started between $20 and $30 on the starting price, and they started early afternoon. Some of the other ones that started at $60, $80, $100, they didn't do as well. So I said, okay, what I see here real quick, I'm going to do $24.65 and 1 o'clock. And we're going to see what that does. So this is a special card. You always want to look for these studio props. Paper moons, sitting on a bench, hunting rifle, different things like that. But that caught my eye in that auction. But look at that. What I showed you. The average price is like $200. Now there's some that sold cheaper than that, and I took some of the higher comps, but shoot for the moon. We'll see in a minute if it's sold or not. Then the next card is like a portrait. I just put 3 young gentlemen with hats, circa 1920, and I got the date from the stamp box again. Started at $4.65. Goes up 15 minutes after the moon. Next one, I didn't understand this, why the husbands were sitting and the wives are standing. So I said, RPPC, husband sitting down, wife standing. Again, Azo box, triangles pointing up, 1920s. I said $4.65, $1.30. This was a different one. A little morbid, not really though. It's some person at his grandfather's grave. And the little inset there is a grave on Decoration Day is what they called it. And I put RPPC picture of Grandpa's grave, postcard, Wisconsin, because it was, or posted Wisconsin. That's about the only thing I could find about it. And the starting price I did $4.65. Price to sell, let's see what we get. Get 2 people going at it. You might get a little bit more. And $1.45. But there's writing on the front of the card there. And I'll read it for you if you can't see it. The writing actually says, this is a picture I took of Grandpa's grave on Decorations Day. A part of Grandma's grave can be seen at the right. So I thought that was pretty cool about somebody sending a message to that, and they developed it on the paper and they sent it to someone. So Grandpa's grave on Decoration Day and part of Grandma's grave to the right. We'll see if this sells. Next one, I really didn't. It's just a lady and a guy. And the guy's sitting again. Is that a thing in those years, that the guy sits down and the lady stands? RPPC man with big mustache and wife. Posted, Dean, Iowa, 1908. Now remember, these come from an auction, so they usually are from an estate. So I think part of this is Dean, Iowa, for this estate. We've had 2 of them from Dean, Iowa. I put it $4.65, going off at 2 o'clock. This is a family of 4. It probably took forever to get that kid's hair right. I put RPPC family of 4, all dressed up, man with pocket watch. I think that little chain in his pocket is a pocket watch. I wouldn't know what else that would be. On chain, circa 1920s, because of the Azo stamp box. I just put $4.65, goes off at $2.15. Now this next one I priced at $7.65 to start. I did a little dive on this one. I think I did in Worth Point. In Howman's Marine Dining Room, Lorraine, Ohio, circa 1950s, is what I got from some of the comps. And the prices were up there, so I priced it at $7.65 to start, $3 more. It's a nice looking card. It's solid, and it's got the dining room. It's got a little bit of decor in there. So I figure, okay, let's see what we can get for this. Goes off at $2.30. Now this one, I think these are props too, and you're going to see why here in a second. But I really didn't know. There's nothing here. Now there is a sign in the back that says Arcadia. So I put postcard RPPC, dad and son sitting on chairs. Arcadia sign behind them. Started at $4.65. I didn't know what the Arcadia is. $2.45. And on the back there it says something about we went there with Alfie, Dad and Alfie. So, but they're sitting in those chairs. That's a key thing here. This I thought would be an interesting one also. There's a couple of them out there. I did find a couple of these, but I didn't price it up. It's the RPPC pontoon bridges on the Mississippi River. Now it's near Prairie D Chain, Wisconsin. I started at $4.65 because they're the pontoon bridges. And 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock Pacific time is when it goes off. We'll see what it does. It's a nice card. I don't think it's anything amazing. This was another one. It's a RPPC class photo, guys sitting in dirt. If you look on the right side there, those guys are sitting in dirt. I didn't know what else to put in there. And it's around circa 1915 because of the date on the front of the card. It says 1915. So I put circa 1915. I priced that one at $4.65. There is some wear on this one. Up in the top left, you notice that with the border around it, it has a corner missing and stuff. But I figured $4.65, and the guys are sitting in dirt, right? This was one I did a little research. I needed to know where Gala Day was. So this is a crowd of people. I put postcard RPPC, Gala Day Festival, York, United Kingdom. So this was a international card. It's in York, United Kingdom was where I came up with. And it's just a bunch of people. You see the hats, not a lot else in the picture. So I started at $4.65. I figure it's international with their shipping and stuff. Maybe someone will pop for it. And I only got $1.80 into it, and we'll see. Went off at $3.30. Now this is the same from York, United Kingdom. This is a military, it's called Military Sunday. I didn't look too much into it, but there's a lot of writing on there. Same thing. I just, it's a parade, but it's going international, so I want to make sure with the shipping and everything, it's still okay for them to buy. I just want to move it, because international don't sell well for me, so I always price them down a little bit, just price to sell. Started at $4.65 and it went off at $3.45. I didn't know if these guys are military or what, but they're holding rags. And the hats and stuff look military to me, what I looked at real quick. So I put RPPC military men posing and holding rags. Remember, I'm just doing the titles. I'm doing this real quick. And people say, well, you're writing a lot more than normal, Mark. Yeah, there are RPPCs, so there's not a lot of information, so you got to dig it out yourself. But I started this one at $4.65. I couldn't find any other information. I'm sure someone else could probably do. But that started at 4 o'clock. This is an elk convention. And you're saying, what? It's a bunch of elks. And someone wrote at the bottom, the elk convention. So of course, with my theory on titles, I just put RPPC, the elk convention. So it's a bunch of elks in a picture, $4.65, 4:15 p.m. it goes off. I don't have a lot of hope for this one, but I had to put it in there. Now this is, look at that. It looks like the same chairs. Let me bring up the other one, with the guys sitting in chairs. It looks like the same place, but it's not, because there's Arcadia sign behind one, but it looks like the same type of chair. So I think this is a posed, somebody's got a camera and they're out there taking pictures and they're charging people to take their pictures and stuff. That's what I think's happening here. So this is the mom and two sons sitting in chairs posing for a picture. I put $4.65. We'll see what comes out of it, but I think it's the same as, I think this is like a studio thing out in the wild, you know, out in the field. They're taking pictures and stuff like that. If anybody knows any more information about stuff like this, on there. But $4.65. Now I'm from the Chicago area, and this was a RPPC of the Gold Coast, which is north of the Loop in Chicago. And I used to do work on all these buildings down there. This is the Gold Coast. This is around Lakeshore Drive and stuff like that, going into Lincoln Park and around the lakefront there. And this was a really nice card, a real thick card stock, well done. It's got the writing, and it was clear, the picture and everything. So I started this one at $5.65, just from, I didn't do any lookups or anything. I just felt that it's a good, I need to go $1 more, because a lot of people on Gold Coast got money also. So, and that went off at $4.45. Now the last auction, who doesn't like pandas? Anything with Brookfield Zoo, and stuff like that. I've always done well with animals out of Chicago, Lincoln Park, Brookfield Zoo, the gorillas, the tigers, and stuff like that. So I put giant panda, Brookfield Zoo, because that's what the information on the card is saying. Chicago, Illinois, and I put posted 1946, so they get a reference about when. And I started that one at $8.65 because I've always done well with these cards. And and that was the last auction scheduled. So those are the 25 cards I did. And I scheduled everything out there. And then I let it run. And it ran for 7 days. First day I didn't get a lot of nothing. I ended, you know, everything got done by 1 to 5. Second day, I think I got a couple watchers. I got one watcher on the Moon one. No bids. Third day, no bids. Fourth day, picked up a little bit of stuff. And then on the final day of the auctions, of the 25 auctions, they ran for 7 days, Sunday to Sunday. Total, out of all 25 auctions, I only got 12 bids. Out of all 25 auctions, I got a total of 134 views and only 13 watchers. So I didn't get a lot of traffic that I thought I would get. And plus, I don't do auctions, so I don't know if this is normal or not. I don't watch auctions and stuff like that. So 12 bids, 134 views, and 13 watchers total out of all the 25 auctions. How many cards sold? 5. I sold 5 of the 25 cards. So 5%. I think that's what do the math. So 5 cards out of 25 sold after being out there. Now which ones sold and for how much? We'll go through these real quick. The Path. This one sold. The one I put up, it's just a Path through the woods I put up for $4.65. It actually had 3 bids, 19 views, and 2 watchers. Sold for $10.80. And they paid immediately. So that one sold for $10.80. Next one sold was the Faded Out Railroad Bridge. Only had 1 bid, 7 views, 0 watchers. So someone got it at the end, I think, on there. If you don't have more than 1 person, you're not going to get the price up. You need them to, otherwise you just got a 7-day buy it now to me. So that sold for $4.65. And of course with auctions, I still have the card. They haven't paid. Now I usually don't look at feedback and stuff, but I went out and I wanted for the video and stuff, I wanted to see who the buyer is. This buyer has bought cards forever, leaves good feedback, gets good feedback, so I feel I'm not going to have a problem for $4.65 for this card, and he'll end up paying once he gets back into eBay and stuff. I don't think it's a problem, but with auctions, I hear that a lot, non-payers. But out of the 5 cards that sold, this is the only one that haven't paid. And the history of that guy looks like he's got great feedback. He leaves great feedback. He's been buying cards from everybody that I've seen some familiar names and stuff like that. Usually I never look at that stuff, but I did because I wanted to, for the video, and see what with the auction test. So $4.65. Now, the Moon only sold for $33. Man, how much did I lose? I don't know. You never know. But I had 6 bids, 60 views, and 6 watchers. I thought that was a little low compared, but I remember I started at $24.65. I only had $1.80 into it, and the comps average out about $200, and I got $33. Just what I thought. Auctions, sometimes most of the time you don't get what you do and buy it now. If I would have put that in and buy it now for $175, $225, I probably could have got it if I sat down a little bit. But $33. So all that little rabbit hole work I did, pulling the comps on it and stuff like that, didn't do what I wanted to do. So I think I missed out on that one by doing this auction. Next one that sold was the Dad in the Chair with the Arcadia sign. 1 bid, 9 views, 1 watchers. Came in the last couple of days was the watcher, if I remember right. But I only sold for $4.65 because there was only 1 person. That was my starting bid. And guess what else sold? The Mom in the Chairs, $4.65. It wasn't the same person. I didn't mail it to the same person. Those sold. 25 auctions. Spent my time doing it, which now I understand why. I always forget about the pain of doing auctions. The administration of them is just a pain to me. And you'll see some pros and cons here in a second. But let's break down what I made. Remember, I paid $45 for all the RPPCs. I threw a bunch out that I'm not going to do, and I kept 25 for the auction test and for me to sell. So it was $1.80 per card. So my total dollars I got in for the 5 cards that sold was $57.75. So $57.75. Now let's break down the cost and run some numbers through that little eBay calculator thing that I did on one of the past videos. So once I get done here, I'm going to put it in. I already did it in the calculator. I'll show you the screen. But I had 5 cards, paid $1.80 each. That's $9. Envelopes, I'm trying to count everything I can here. I hope I didn't miss anything. But envelopes, I get them for like 12 cents. That's 60 cents. Sleeves, I figure a penny a piece, 5 cents. So my total item cost of the 5 cards out the door is $9.65. Now I'm not counting eBay fees yet. You'll see that here in a second. So $9.65 for $57.75. That's what my cost of goods go out. Now I had to pay shipping. So anything that went ESE is 60 cents. So that's $2.40 because I didn't charge for it in there if it's ESE. Now the Moon one, I did put it at first class. I put $5.55 in there. And that did sell. And my cost of shipping was $3.81 to ship that card. So that's what it was. So my total shipping was $6.21. Now here is the calculator. I went in and I put all the information into this eBay calculator on that website. It's called the eBay fee calculator. So my sold price is $57.75. My shipping, I charge $5.55 is what I put in for the Moon card. Because I knew if it made it first class, it would go. If it got up to $200, I'll just priority or whatever. So I put $5.55 just to cover the basic of that. That's the only shipping I had charged. Everything else was ESE free shipping in there. So my item cost was the $9.65 that we figured out there. And then my actual shipping cost that I figured out just a minute ago was $6.21. That's why I figured it that way. So all those are filled out. No, and I just did all 5 cards as one order here. So I had one order. I have a premium store. I'm top rated. I'm using eBay managed payments. It's not international. I did not promote. You can't promote the auction. And I didn't do any donation, charity. Now the sales tax stuff you really can't do much with. So I just put mine in 6. My county is 6 1/4. And sales tax includes shipping. Yeah, most of it is nowadays. And then down at the category I picked collectibles. And no subcategory. So my eBay fees for those 5 cards in an auction were $7.78. Sales tax $3.96. I made, before I paid my personal taxes and stuff, $39.66. So $40. So out of 25 cards, in the time I spent, I made $40. So if you take your taxes, then I'll have to pay the 15%, and then my time I put into this, was it worth it? The wait 7 days, or would it have been better for me to put those cards as buy it now? So that's what I ended up making, $40 profit. Now I got $45 in these RPPCs, and I didn't get my money back yet, but I sold this card. After the auction, I went ahead and just relisted all the cards that didn't sell as buy it nows. This sold within 8 hours of that, and that was that Military Sunday over to York in the United Kingdom. I put the price on this $8.65 instead of $4.65 like I did in the auction. It sold as a buy it now. They paid immediately. I mailed it out. I got my money back now for my $45. So I'm basically broke even, and I have 19 cards to go left out of that batch to sell. But I did lose out on the Moon, I think. That's a bummer. So that's my test with the auctions. But let me sum up auctions. I don't do them. Very, very, very rarely do them. This is probably the most auctions I've done in years, is this test. Now, what are the pros of doing auctions that I see out of this? I made a little bit of money. Not enough to cover my costs, but I was expecting more. I think you lose on auctions of what you can get and buy it now. Unless you get people going at it, unless you got it very hard to find or out there, you just got to get the right people. And it's like roulette, you just got to spin the wheel. And I don't care for that too much. I think I lost out on that paper Moon. Now what I did like about the auction is watching it. It was different than just putting the card in the box, waiting for someone to buy it, pay, and you ship it out. This was kind of neat watching when the phone goes off. Oh, I got another bid on this one. Oh, there's another bid. At the end, the paper Moon got a couple bids in a couple minutes of each other. So there was a little bit of excitement, different than buy it now. So I kind of enjoyed that part of the auctions. The adrenaline a little bit, watching it, the anticipation of how it's going to come out. So the gambling is always there. But that's really all the pros. I don't like the administration of it at all. Now the cons, what I see. Like I said, I don't like the administration of it. If they don't sell, you got to go find them and then relist the things or redo them, and they're in another bucket. And it's just, I'm just so used to buy it now and managing it every day and stuff like that. I think there's a little bit more admin work than I want to do with auctions. Then also, I think the customers have to wait 7 days. Where buy it now, they can want it now and they buy it. Maybe you lose a few customers because they just can't get it now. Now, if I put best buy it now price on there, I could have done that for the cards and just buy it now. But I wanted to see what auctions would do with this. So the customers waiting. The non-payers. Now, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this, gentlemen, just from the background I see. But a lot of people say auctions, just like offers, you get on the layaway plan, people don't pay. I can see that. I make more doing buy it now than I would auctions, I figure. I figure you're losing 40-60% in auctions mostly overall on there. I think I make doing the waiting game with buy it now, I think I do better. And I definitely lost on the paper moon. I took a gamble, threw the dice, nothing. Just there. I wish I could pull that card back and put it in buy it now, and I would be fine. Will I do another one? You know, if I get another batch of cards, I might. I kind of enjoyed the anticipation to see what it is. It was just something different to watch and do. I think that's really about the only thing positive out of this test that I like is the anticipation, the gambling part to see if you got that one card. If I had a bunch of hard to find cards and I got them for $1.80, I might do it again, but not a paper moon. Now the next time I do that, maybe I would put a paper moon in there, or crescent moon studio prop in there, and I get $200. You just never know. So I think that's about the only reason why I would do it again. What do you think about auctions? Stick it in the comments. Do you guys do auctions? Are you guys more auction than buy it now? I think everything's more buy it now than auctions like they did years ago. That's all I got on my little 25 RPPC test. I was all in. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.